From slave to emperor, the rise of Diocletian. What if I told you that a Roman emperor was once a slave? Before he became emperor, he started from the lowest status, yet he transformed Rome into a great power once again. His name was Diocletian. How did he rise to the throne? The 3rd century was a dark time for Rome. Endless civil wars, economic crises, and the constant assassination of emperors left the empire in chaos. In just 50 years, over 20 emperors were either murdered or overthrown. Rome was no longer the mighty force it once was. During this period, powerful generals fought for control, and different factions tore the empire apart. The army had more power than the Senate, and whoever controlled the military controlled Rome itself. This was the world into which Diocletian was born, a world where only the strongest could survive. Diocletian was born in a poor family in what is now Croatia. His father was a freed slave, meaning that Diocletian grew up knowing that status was everything in Rome. Despite his low birth, he had one advantage: military service. In a time when Rome needed strong leaders, the military was the best way for an ambitious man to rise above his station. Diocletian joined the army at a young age. He was disciplined, intelligent, and ruthless. These qualities made him stand out among his peers. Slowly but surely, he climbed the ranks, proving himself in battle and gaining the favor of the ruling elite. In the Roman army, promotions were not given based on birth, but on ability. Diocletian had plenty of that. He became known for his brilliant military strategies, strict discipline, and ability to command loyalty from his soldiers. He was not just a soldier, he was a leader. He gained a powerful ally in Emperor Carus, who appointed him as the commander of the elite cavalry. This position put him in direct line for the throne, but it also made him a target. In 283 AD, Emperor Carus was mysteriously killed during a military campaign. Some say he was struck by lightning. Others believe he was assassinated. His death triggered a power struggle. His sons took over, but they were weak and unpopular. The army needed a new leader. In 284 AD, one of the emperor's sons was murdered under suspicious circumstances. The army, tired of weak rulers, turned to a man they trusted, Diocletian. Without hesitation, he declared himself emperor, but he didn't stop there. He personally executed the remaining heir, ensuring that no one could challenge his rule. It was a bold move, but in a time of chaos, Rome needed a strong hand, and Diocletian was ready to take control. Once in power, Diocletian wasted no time in reforming the empire. He knew that Rome could not survive if it continued to be ruled by a single emperor. The empire was simply too big. His most radical decision was to divide the empire into two parts, east and west, and appoint a co-emperor to rule alongside him. This system, known as the Tetrarchy, was meant to bring stability by sharing power. To further strengthen the government, he created a strict chain of command and built a massive bureaucracy. He made sure that the military, economy, and government worked together to support the empire. Diocletian also introduced economic reforms, including controlling prices to stop inflation. Though not all of his reforms were successful, they helped stabilize the empire after decades of turmoil. One of the darkest chapters of Diocletian's rule was his persecution of Christians. He saw Christianity as a threat to the empire's unity. In 303 AD, he launched what would become the largest and bloodiest persecution of Christians in Roman history. Churches were destroyed, scriptures were burned, and thousands were arrested and executed. Despite this, Christianity would survive, and within a century, it would become the dominant religion of the empire. Ironically, the empire he tried to unify under the old gods would later be ruled by Christian emperors. In 305 AD, something unprecedented happened. Diocletian voluntarily stepped down as emperor. He was the first Roman emperor in history to abdicate by choice. Tired and possibly ill, he retired to his grand palace on the Dalmatian coast, where he spent the rest of his life gardening. When asked if he would return to politics, he simply said, "If you could see the cabbages I have grown, you would never ask me to return to power." Diocletian's reforms saved Rome from immediate collapse. Though his power-sharing system eventually failed, it set the foundation for the Byzantine Empire. His economic policies influenced Roman rule for decades, and his strong leadership allowed Rome to survive another century before its final fall. From a low-born soldier to the ruler of the Roman world, Diocletian's life is a testament to ambition, intelligence, and the power of strong leadership. One man changed the fate of an empire, and his story is one that history will never forget. Want to hear more stories like this? Subscribe and like for more historical deep dives.